Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening for some of you. Thank you so much for joining. I see a lot of our familiar names, faces that I can picture, little avatars saying hello. We've got Mary and Stacy and Robert and Tina. We've got Zilpa. Thanks for joining us, Zilpa. I didn't recognize your name from all the way from Australia, so I can't imagine what time it is there right now. We've got Jason and Cynthia and John and Eliza, of course, and Anne and Sandra and everyone else. See Michigander. I'm not sure if that means they're from Michigan or that's their really cool last name. We also have Steph. Great to see you guys. So I am broadcasting from the officially painted Sketchbook School headquarters in Columbus, Ohio in the US. So the color that I went with is called Juicy Cantaloupe. So whenever my husband walks in my office, he says he needs to grab his goggles because he's going inside the cantaloupe, which is really weird. But that was the color that I wanted. So here we are. I've also noticed some of the art that I'm going to share with you matches my walls. So that's always fun. So thanks for tuning in. Let's just get right started. Oh, that's Chris from Michigan. Thanks for clarifying. There's a pretty big rivalry for people from Columbus, Ohio and people in Michigan. Frankly, I don't care that much about it. I don't really like football. I don't really care about football, so I'm fine with Michigan. So thanks for joining us, Chris. It's a beautiful state. Excellent. Well, I want to start off. So class news. We don't have a ton of courses in session right now besides our on-demand courses, but we are ready to launch the iPad course, which we've been talking a lot about. John says, it's my kitchen, so maybe he's also got some cantaloupe walls. Maybe I entered the conversation in the wrong place. But I wanted to just touch base on Danny having a Q&A today on Instagram. There have been a lot of questions about the iPad course and if I can or can't take it, depending on what tools I'm using. So Danny's going to do a Q&A, and he also shared a video titled, I don't have an iPad Pro, in the SkoolYard. It's also on our YouTube channel. So for those of you with questions about how you might benefit from the iPad course, check out Danny's video and check out his live Instagram Q&A that's happening on our Instagram channel, our Instagram account, today at 12 p.m. Eastern, so in less than an hour. Check that out. Some students have been working through, as I said, our on-demand courses, and I want to share this drawing with you that Kat Forsyth did as part of our beginning course. And for those of you that have taken beginning, you might look at this drawing of a kitchen and you might think, oh, I remember doing a drawing of my kitchen. So one of our instructors in the beginning course, his name is Tommy Kane, and he assigns students a homework assignment to sit and draw their kitchen or a room in their house for a few hours, so a really long drawing. And Kat did this drawing of her kitchen for her homework, and I love seeing all the detail and sort of the meditative quality that she probably felt while doing this drawing. And I wanted to share it because we have a lot of students working through the beginning course right now. And we have a group for beginning in the SkoolYard. So for those of you that are old veterans and maybe have done this, are alumni to the beginning course, check out the beginning group in the SkoolYard and maybe give some of those newbies some encouragement on these kitchen drawings. I love Kat's image here, and there's a lot more people posting homework in the beginning group in the SkoolYard. So check that out and give them a pat on the back for starting their creative journey. I also wanted to share a drawing that Rosemary did as part of a Throwback Thursday post that she actually posted yesterday, where she did a drawing where she broke up a page just kind of with arbitrary shapes and a grid, because she was a little intimidated with starting on a blank page and having to fill the whole thing. So she broke it up into 3 or 4 sections and just did one a day. But when you look at them combined all together, you've got 4 very different drawings that are kind of blending together in a really cool way. So for those of you that might be kind of iffy about starting a brand new page, if you only have like maybe 5 minutes to draw, I loved Rosemary's tip on breaking up the page into a little grid and kind of just working with those shapes as you go through your week and seeing what comes out. Another student project that we love seeing in the SkoolYard, and it's a daily occurrence, is that we have daily drawing prompts. And we post a word of the day every day, and we have a calendar that lives on our Sketchbook School blog, a card for each month with a ton of prompts. And students have been interpreting these in really fun ways. And I love seeing it when students take a prompt and, make a joke out of it. Thanks, Eliza, for hopping into the beginning group, by the way. But I love when students share their daily drawing prompts, images, and they, approach it with some humor. So Rock did this drawing for the word cast, and he did some stormtroopers and said something along the lines of, even stormtroopers need a cast from time to time. So I just loved this kind of Star Wars infused drawing. I thought that was really great, Rock. So thanks for sharing that with us. And Linda did one based on the term swell. And apparently Linda used to work for the Swell Bubblegum Company in college, back in the day. And this drawing kind of reminded her of the jobs that she had in college, working on the machine that wraps the gum, and then another job picking out defective gumballs. And Linda, thank you for sharing that little memory, because I think that's so fascinating. And it kind of taps into that urge to watch those shows like How It's Made, where you see all the food on the conveyor belts and the cans being labeled. And there's something really satisfying about that to me. I don't know if that makes me a weirdo, but thank you for sharing that memory with us, Linda. And you were inspired by that drawing prompt, which I think is really fun. And another drawing that made me chuckle was actually created by Kosha's father, Franz. And Franz did this drawing for the prompt body. And he wrote, "This is a six-pack that I sometimes have." And I thought that was amazing. Franz has a great sense of humor, and he interpreted the term body to show us his favorite six-pack, which may or may not be a can of, or a six-pack of beer or some other beverage, but I like his attitude. It's very body positive, and I think it's pretty funny. So thanks, Franz, for sharing that with us. Some other stuff happening in the schoolyard is we often have discussions, and we share discussion questions where lots of students can share their thoughts and opinions on a wide variety of things. And this week in the schoolyard, we asked a lot of questions about creative practices and what it might look like for you. And it's been really cool to see students respond about how long do they usually sit for a drawing. Do they prefer short, quick sketches, or do they like to sit for a few hours? We also had students sharing their responses to questions that have to do with their creative habit and kind of what stands in the way of that, and also how they hold themselves accountable. And for the question of how you hold yourself accountable for your creative habit, Suzanne Abrams had a really fun idea where she kind of just assigns herself mini challenges from week to week, and she calls them her delicious ideas. And I love that Suzanne kind of looks at this as a way to challenge herself, but also come up with a fun term for it. So she'll assign herself a delicious idea if she thinks of something maybe based on meeting up with a friend or wanting to do a portrait of someone's dog or a portrait of a good friend that she met up maybe for lunch with. And so I love that Suzanne each week kind of sets out and gives herself a delicious idea, which is just something relevant to her life that she can tackle in the form of a drawing. And I love that idea. I think I just love the term and kind of giving yourself that mental homework assignment. So Suzanne, thanks for sharing that method with us in response to one of our discussion questions. And in the area of student projects, so our student spotlight this week, we actually meet a student named Dawn Marsh. And if you're in the schoolyard, chances are you've probably heard from Dawn, either in the form of a cheer or a comment on your art. Dawn is super supportive and enthusiastic, and he shared his story with us, and that's actually on our blog right now in our Student Spotlight series, and we also shared it in the schoolyard. So Dawn makes some amazing art, and he's been at it for just a short while. So I would check out the Student Spotlight with Dawn this week because it was a lot of fun. So thanks, Dawn. We also have Audrey and Pam hopping in. I see that. Thanks for joining us. And some other student projects. So we have a series here at Sketchbook School called Show and Tell. And every other week or so, we will hop online on YouTube and interview a student about something that makes them passionate. And I wanted to open this up to all of you who are watching right now, who might see this, that I would love recommendations or nominations for students to be interviewed for Show and Tell. So if you see someone in the schoolyard making some really incredible art or sharing a really poignant story, Or if you want to nominate a story that you want to share about maybe something that you do for a living that's really interesting, or maybe your favorite creative practice. Sorry, I just heard a dog groan, so pardon that. But yeah, if you ever have a short story that you want to share with us, kind of an interview format, please send your nominations, whether they're self-nominations or nominations for other people, to me at morgan@sketchbookschool.com. So, hey Aideen, thanks for stopping by. So if you ever have recommendations for students that you want to hear from in our show and tell series, let me know. You can do that in the comments here. You can also email me or find me in the schoolyard. So that would be great. And one student gave herself sort of a little challenge this week, and I loved this drawing because I think this color palette really speaks to me. I'm not sure why or how I would get that assumption, but Diana shared this, and she started working in a super tiny sketchbook that's probably maybe 2 inches tall. And I love the idea of sort of changing your format. If things are feeling a little stale or you're getting bored. Diana worked in a really tiny sketchbook, and I think there's something that's always fun about working really small and looking at little things in miniature. It's one of my favorite things. So Diana, thanks for sharing that with us. And another student project that has come up before, but it's kind of circling back around, Petra shared that she started learning Italian, so learning a new language. And I love that Petra is using sketching to kind of seal the deal with some terms and some new words that she's learning. And we actually had another student who did a similar thing when learning a foreign language. Last year, Donna, our student, started learning Lithuanian. And she did a lot of drawings of the words that she was learning as part of the language. So Petra and Donna are learning new languages and illustrating these new vocabulary words. And I just love that idea for a way to make words kind of stick if you're a visual person. So thanks for sharing that, Petra and Donna, who's been sharing that for a while now. I love seeing the words and the languages that you're learning, and I love seeing all these foreign languages in the schoolyard. We've got students posting their art in German and now in French, and it's really special that we have such a global community. So thanks to all of you for making it such a diverse place. That's one of my favorite things about the schoolyard, definitely. And now I want to move on to, at the end of each of these bulletins, I talk about upcoming meetups. So we've got some meetups happening this coming week. Valerie and the Urban Sketchers are going to be at Tom's Place Resort. They're going back to Mammoth Lakes in California for a sketch meetup on the 30th of August, which is today. So catch up with that at 10 a.m. Pacific. If you're in the area. And then on September 1st, so tomorrow, the Atlanta Urban Sketchers. Oh, actually, sorry. I think September 1st is actually, it is on Sunday. Sorry about that. I had to check a calendar. So yeah, September 1st, check it out. The Atlanta Urban Sketchers are going to be drawing in historic Alpharetta, which sounds like a really cool little town. So check that out. And the Crazines are doing something really exciting on September 5th. They're calling it an art jaunt, and they're teaming up with Black Eyed Press, and they're going to be doing some stuff in Chicago. So they're going to be hitting up some local art museums and also a local Dick Blick store for some shopping afterwards. I think that sounds like the most perfect day out. So check that out if you're in the Chicago area in the Midwest on September 5th. And then we also have Sherry in southern Maine who's meeting up at the Garden at Pineland Farms on September 5th. So for those of you in Maine, it's a pretty small state, maybe you can make it to this meetup with Sherry. Definitely check that out. And I hope everyone here has a great weekend and a good holiday weekend if you're in the US. It's a Labor Day weekend, so some of you might be spending time with your families, winding down summer with, a few more cookouts or fun activities. So I hope you all have a great weekend, and we will see you back in the schoolyard next week. So thank you for joining, and I'll catch all of you guys later. Thanks a lot for sharing with us. Have a great day.